Thanks, Brandon.
Oh, goodness.
Yep, I've forgotten what my real face looks like.
He does.
I was bleeding. Which, just like you, makes me an anomaly, an aberration. Watch the switch. You're too young to be on steroids, but
and in some ways it's better this way. In some ways it's gotten not as good this way, but it's figuring itself out.
So you said better than it was. How long have you been wrestling?
This is about 10 years now for me.
Okay.
Like I was managing when I first started. I backed into all this. Like
backed?
Yeah, I didn't. This was never like
into.
It wasn't like because I dreamed about doing this.
Yeah, like most everybody.
I watched. I loved it. Like, but I didn't love what everybody else loved. I grew up on like old Southern wrestling. So like Dusty Rhodes was my surrogate dad.
Oh, I know him.
Because again, when my dad passed away when I was 9.
Oh, wow.
And he was a bit of a drinker and some other things and did to himself and whatever. But then as a kid, I'm like, first time I saw Dusty Rhodes and I'm like, the first time I listened to him talk and I went, wait a minute. Holy cow. Like this resonates. I get it. And I never forget it that they did a thing on TV because you could get I lived in South Bend and you get TBS. So you get like the Atlanta base station.
Yeah.
Well, one Saturday they did a thing where the Four Horsemen had grabbed Dusty in a parking lot and they paid to get it. Like they did the whole, we paid a guy to film this because we need to teach you a lesson.
Oh.
And they tied him to a truck and they broke his arm.
Like for real?
I
was like, wow.
But as a child.
Oh my God, that would have been traumatized.
I'm yelling at my mother going, we got to call the police.
Aww.
They broke his arm.
That's so sweet.
You can't break somebody's arm. It's not okay. And my mom was like, so good. She knew exactly what to say. She was like, well, honey, they're in Atlanta. I'm sure somebody in the Atlanta police will come deal with that.
Oh, that's smart.
She's like, if we call it, we'll tie up the line.
Oh,
people can't get through.
Oh, that's smart.
And I'm like,
right. Wow, go mom.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. And then he come back the next week and let him know, like, you did this to me, but now you're going to pay for it. And in my head, I'm like, oh my God, this is the thing. And every Saturday I had to see, because like, what's going to happen? What's he going to do?
Oh, no kidding.
And it just,
and
that
I missed out on so much because I wasn't even aware wrestling was a thing until there was like a cartoon.
Right, yeah, see?
And then that's all I thought it was. Yeah. I thought it was like this joke. I thought it was a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's still kind of cartoony.
Oh, yeah, well,
I'm not going to lie. But not in a bad way.
No. In the old days, like when there were territories and that, stylistically, it would change based on where you were. So like the way they wrestled in, say, like New York was entirely different than the way they wrestled in Louisiana.
Really?
Entirely different kind of fans.
Is that what I thought the territories were just a way to like carve up who gets what and where.
It was that too.
Okay.
Because it was very, if I had to describe it to people who didn't know,
that's
mafia-ish.
That's the vibe I was kind of getting.
Yeah, so like if we'll say this area just for an example.
Okay.
So he has Niles.
Okay.
I have South Bend.
Okay.
You have Bremen.
That's bullshit, but okay.
Yeah, well, and I don't run in Bremen unless I talk to you.
So
I don't use anybody from that Bremen area unless I talk to you.
Oh, it is very mobstery.
Because that's yours.
But it's not though.
And I don't dare. But then it was
because those are full grown adults.
But you work for me, and the thing is, you work for me. I make sure I take care of you. I pay you well. I make sure these things happen. And then the thing about it is then after people kind of get a little tired of you because you've been around for a bunch, I send you off to him for a little while. Hey, I'm gonna send Prue to you for a couple weeks. Go do that, so I can bring people, and then I can get people.
Oh, and then they stay there for a couple weeks. And it's not just like a day trip or whatever.
No, back then, because back then they ran almost every night.
Did the people have a say? Like you said, pay. So I'm assuming they got paid decently?
They got paid like to living wages. Like it was, people were making 70,
really?
80. And in like nowadays money.
Like in this kind of wrestling?
There really wasn't this kind of wrestling.
It was just that.
Yeah, it was just
that. So they were always a tier above this, but this didn't exist.
Yeah, no, this is, everybody there was almost like what like Vince McMahon has now, but in all these little spots.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Okay, see, I hadn't realized. I had assumed it was like on this level, and they were getting. So like they got paid good. Did they have a say? Could you like say like, hey, I want to go to Louisiana for?
Yeah, I mean, you could like, or you might know a guy.
Okay.
Or, like the Freebirds, for example. When the Freebirds were in Texas, Ric Flair met him while he was down in Texas. He's like, you got to come work for us.
I love Ric Flair.
So let's come up to. So we're gonna get you up to Atlanta.
Okay.
So they get the Freebirds up there. Unfortunately, the Freebirds only worked in Atlanta for like a day because the Freebirds lived their gimmick. Okay. And they were very Jack Daniels whiskey and very cowboy boots and let's go get in a fight.
Oh.
And they had the guy that owned Crockett Promotion at the time, Jim Crockett, his wife was having a birthday party. And so so Terry Gordy and Michael Hayes and Buddy Roberts, we'll have them come to the party. We'll sign all the papers there. We'll get everything going. We got a good 6-month run for you guys. We got these big plans. You guys will make about $100,000 a year each. Blah, blah, blah. And about halfway through the night, they're coming up to Ric Flair. They're like, hey, Rick, you got to come get Buddy. And Buddy Roberts is off doing his thing. Like, we got to come get Buddy. And like, well, we're talking. We're like, Rick, you got to come get Buddy. And what happened was Buddy Roberts started talking to Jim Crockett's wife, drunk off his whole tail, and then eventually tried to pee on her.
I'm crying.
Tried to pee on because Buddy Roberts would get drunk and try to pee on people.
Oh my gosh,
he did it a lot.
Gross. Why would you let that man drink? No.
And so that night it was can't do it. So they went back to Texas and kept feuding with the Von Erichs and made a bunch of money there.
Lord have mercy. So how long ago was this? That was
80s, early 80s.
Okay, so it's what, 23 years, right?
Like you could go to the Louisville Gardens on a Tuesday night and see 250,000 people.
On a Tuesday?
On a Tuesday night. They just call them Tuesday night at the Gardens.
Shut up. So do you know why don't we do that now?
When Vince bought everything, it killed everything. Oh. Because he took all the talent. Oh. So nobody had anything.
Oh. So he became the godfather.
And then when he went out there and when he didn't want to pay taxes for like the athletic commissions and stuff, and then he told everybody it was entertainment.
Oh, it wasn't entertainment before it was an actual sport?
It was considered a sport.
No kidding.
Because you didn't.
I didn't know. I didn't realize. I thought it's always been sports entertainment.
If you were, let's say you were wrestling somewhere, and let's say you and a fan got into it, and there were legal proceedings.
Okay.
If he's the promoter, he's telling you very specifically as you go to court, you don't tell them nothing. You tell them the things they ask you, and that's it. You don't give details.
Okay.
So what happened? And what really happened is you were going out to the ring as a bad guy and somebody got mad. That's what happened. But that's not what you say.
Okay.
You say, sir, I was going out there to wrestle my match and somebody attacked me and provoked me and I struck them. And that's it.
So you don't need to give them the scenario. It's not the business what the scenario is.
Because they protected it.
That really is very mobstery.
Yeah, because it was protected. You don't tell nobody nothing.
So is that why there's all this like, it's not all this. I've seen a couple posts like alluding to telling business.
Yes, you don't do that. You're not supposed, because what does it hurt your money? Like people don't want to come as much a lot of times. Nowadays it's a little different. It depends. Because like a lot of the older school fans would in my head, I was just telling one of these younger guys this. People sometimes they want to leave all that real stuff at home. Like what's going on in the world and everything else. So let me come here and let me believe that this guy and this guy hate each other's guts for 10 minutes.
This is my way.
Make me believe it.
Yes.
And there's a million different ways you can do it.
But you can, but see, I get that because I want in a way. Like I get it completely. That's one of the reasons that I like wrestling. But at the same time, like I still understand the psychology of the match. Like I enjoy that. But even though I understand it, if you're still good, I'll let go of my logic and it's like watching a movie.
That's it.
You know Adam Wick can't do all that. That's not a thing. But it's
John Wick, you mean?
John Wick, Adam Wick. Oh, sorry, I got Adam. I got another wrestler.
Adam Wick. Adam Wick's a guy.
I really love him.
He's a good dude.
Yes, but the point remains. Like it's different. Like because back in the old days, especially like they'd have riots.
Like they would.
Are you kidding me?
They would go to the heel's car and slash his tires, break out his windows, put sugar in his gas
That is
tank.
a whole ass organized crime organization.
Lipstick on your windshield.
Wow.
Yeah, these were fans.
Holy shnikes.
Like stab people. Like I don't know if you ever seen.
See,
like,
I did have the right idea about wrestling. I just got it from the
different people.
Oh.
Like I don't know if you ever watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
I watched like a half episode.
Like the one that Roddy Piper was on, and he wears his leather jacket that he always wore.
I think that's the half episode I watched.
Well, Roddy Piper bought that jacket because somebody tried to stab him one night, so he started wearing that to the ring because it was a little thicker and the blade wouldn't go all the way through. Because they try to stab you. Like it's for real for them, especially in them little bitty towns.
That's
but
scary.
The thing about it, but they would buy tickets. And they would buy everything you sold them.
So 20 years ago in these...
Well, probably closer now, probably more 40.
Okay.
Probably 40-ish.
Well, okay, so ticket prices, they'd pay ticket prices, right?
No one was going to try stabbing me because I played the heel.
I'm crying.
Wrestling.
Right.
Okay, so 40 years ago was stabbing. Jesus Christ. And 20 years ago... Like, are ticket prices on par? Do you think that they've gone up? Like, what is it, like 50 cents to see?
If you were to do, like, math and...
Yeah, the money, because once you go, like, inflation calculators and everything, you start looking, you go,
It's about the same.
So, we got all bunny trailed. You got back-ended into wrestling.
Yeah, because I did that, and so I got done playing, like, I played semi-pro football for, like, 15 years.
Oh, really? Oh, that's dope.
And then I got done. I retired. I stopped having fun.
Okay.
I was 36, and I was like, I'm just done. I don't want to do it anymore. And it was just because there were fights after every game. People were into it. Like, I'm not.
Wow.
And you couldn't coach kids anymore, and they didn't want to hear it. And it's whatever. Good. I'm good. I'll go. I'm done. And then I was like, I gotta find something to do. Like, I gotta find something to do. And we were going to like RCW used to run at the old Eagles Lodge up there, like just south of 4-H Fairgrounds. Yep. So okay. So anyway, they would run there, and so we went. Like the lady I ended up marrying, I had found a flyer at a video game store one day, and I was like, I had went to a couple wrestling things when I was younger. I'm like, you want to go just for fun? Like they got booze. We'll just and it's probably cheap. It's a VFW.
I mean, yeah.
The Eagles Lodge have solo cups. Let's go.
Yeah, they're usually really. I like it at VFW house.
So we would go there and we would just go get lit up and go watch wrestling.
All right.
So we did that for a minute, and the one guy wrestling there was Super Diva. So Super Diva was doing his thing, and come out there, and he's got like the V6, like G6, or I don't know kid music as much, but his thing, whatever, and they're dancing and doing, and he's dancing on guys and doing guys get all weird, uncomfortable. And it was hilarious.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But he was so much fun to watch.
Okay.
And I'm like, and then one day, he wore this mask, and one day he recognized me in the crowd, and was like, didn't we go to Monroe School together? So like the elementary school that I went to.
Oh, that's funny.
And I'm going, I don't know him though. Like, and my wife is like, who is that? I'm like, no dice. I every job I've ever had was with the public.
Okay.
I meet lots of people. I'm terrible with names.
Yeah, me too. I'm
really good with faces.
I'm excellent with faces.
Know you.
I can remember the conversations we've had, but your name, it takes a while to stick in there.
She's only going to remember a wrestler's face if they're still in their ear.
Right. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah.
No idea.
If you look different when you're wrestling, I'll probably be like, that guy looks familiar. I'm not even playing.
Right.
So bad.
But yeah, so we're doing that, and then finally we were sitting in that little bar like it would be over.
Okay.
And the guy come up to us out of his mask, whatever, and he's like, yeah, did you know so-and-so and so-and-so? People that I knew. And I'm like, I knew pretty well. And I'm like,
okay.
I did know this guy kind of. And he was like, would you ever think about like doing this? And I'm like, not really. I'm like, yeah, I'll come watch, whatever. Like maybe I could ring announce or something. I'll do that. Like, so he was like, well, if you want to do that, he's like, they train here on Mondays. Come on Monday. We'll introduce you to the promoter and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. So and I'm like, I don't know, but let me just whatever. I got nothing to do.
Okay.
So I go, and we get there, and of course the promoters aren't there. Which another thing I've learned about this whole industry is that there's a lot of not very reliable people.
Yeah, I've gathered that so far.
So I get there, but sure enough, Super Diva's there, and some other guys are training in the back, and he's like, "Yeah, they're not here." I'm like, well, whatever. I guess he's like, "But do you want to learn to like wrestle?" And I'm like, and I had always seen like, you know, most places like it was a couple $100 in that to like train. And I'm like, I ain't got a couple $100 to be doing something I don't know if I even want to do.
Yeah. He's trying to like peer pressure you into.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I'll tell you what. He's like, you give me like $50. He's like, and I'll get your basic stuff in, whatever, and we'll see if you like it. If you like it, we'll keep going. If not, we won't.
All right.
And I'm like, let me go home and think about it.
Okay.
So go home.
Talk to the
again. Talk, and it's your girlfriend at the time.
Okay.
And she was the one that told me, she's like, you're doing it.
Oh, very nice.
And I'm like, well, she's like, well, yeah, because she's like, we're gonna probably be together forever anyway. She's like, and I don't want you to be 50 and mad that you didn't do this.
Aw.
She's like, so just do it. Like, what's worth it? She's like, you're an athlete. You can make it happen.
I mean,
she's like, you don't mind fighting every once in a while. She's like, I've seen you do that too. So go ahead and do it. Like, I was like, all right. So I showed up that Wednesday and we like worked on stuff, and I was not great.
I mean,
and I'm still not great. Like, I do better because of me.
that's okay. So that's what I like in a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Like wrestling, it's got to be at least good.
Right.
Like, you
yeah.
can't suck.
Mm-hmm.
So when I say somebody's spectacular, I mean they have gone above and beyond like the very bare minimum that it takes to make me happy.
Right.
But it's the character, it's the story, it's what you put out while you're like coming to the ring. That's what I love.
Yeah,
that's great.
I have a lot of fun. And I have.
So are you a heel?
No, I tried that at one point.
Okay.
And it didn't go great.
No?
No, because what happened is I think for some people who are way better at, I would say, the theater aspect than I am.
Okay.
They can be an entirely different person.
Yes.
And convince you of that.
Yes.
I'm not as great at that. But the one advantage I have over a lot of people is just me as a human. So Chuck just being here.
Yeah.
I already live at about 11 anyway.
All right. I mean, love that.
This is my hair on a regular day.
It's very cute.
Yeah, thank you. That on a regular day, that's me. So it's not that hard for me to get one more notch.
So you just like
a lot of me in it. A lot of me in it.
See,
turn it up a little and go with it.
Okay.
And then I did have a lot of interesting life experiences when I was younger and things like that. So I can deal with it. I can simulate an aggressive simulation pretty good.
When it needs to happen.
Yeah. Like I can look at you and be like, yeah, like so like last night in Maryville, we had been doing a thing with these guys who we had done stuff in a couple other places, and finally they have beaten me up so much that I was like, well, this is a different place than we've normally at though.
Yeah.
Like, do we want to do it different? He's like, no, because some of these fans are the same. He's like, let's just do it. He's like, so let's just keep that going. So as they're coming down there, you know, me and my partner, we were the Booze brothers, and we do our thing, and I try to keep him from drinking because he fights and he's drunk when he's fighting. And I was like, I'm never drunk, I'm just drinking. Like the Boozerweight is never drunk in a match. He's just drinking all the time. You know, you don't get hungover, you don't ever stop drinking.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, it's a solid theory. I've tested it out. It works. But so like we're doing that, but like as you know, we're in the ring, and me and the main guy in the other team, we finally get across from each other a little, and I'm like, I can't wait to punch you right in the mouth. You know, and then and got all the way over, and I let myself go there.
Okay.
So, okay. And I don't know, have you ever seen the program? That movie, the college football program?
No.
Well, it was called The Program, and there's a quote in that movie that we all said when we were kids when we played football. And there was a football player in that movie named Alvin Mack, and he was a trash talker like no other. And he looked at this quarterback in one game and told him, I'm going to bust your gut open and watch you die.
Wow.
And said it to him. And last night that came out for some reason. And they're like, first of all, you're such a glad, happy guy that you're going to fight this guy. So like a couple of fans and people heard about it later and told me, one of the fans who's kind of a super fan that comes to a lot of things, he's like, I think they're getting ready to shoot. Like, I think they're getting ready to fight. And he bought it. And like I'm like, and I went in 11
That's
hours, and I was so
beautiful.
proud. I was like,
That's beautiful.
think about that. Like that.
I'm
works.
one of those fans. He'll tell me to calm down. It's not real. And I'll be like, but it's real in my heart.
And that's all that matters. Like, it's just, like I said, it's people come here and they can deal with all that other stuff later.
Yeah.
Let's do this now. Like, let's hang out. Like, we'll go on a ride together. We'll have some fun. When it's over, we can hug it out and then we'll call it a day.
I like that.
That's, to me, it makes more sense.
So you've been doing this for 10 years.
About 10.
Where have you, well, first off, we're taping, right?
I didn't realize we were.
I'm crying. This is this is what it would be.
This is more of a conversation.
It is. I see, because I get absorbed in who I'm talking about.
Right. That's good though.
Yeah. So 10 years. What's your state? What is it called?
I'm
Is it
Diesel
a
Tracz.
stage name?
Well,
Diesel Tracz.
they'll call it like a gimmick name.
Gimmick name.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your gimmick name?
Diesel Tracz is.
And that's, you've wrestled as Diesel Tracz for the whole 10 years?
No. Like, I had a lot of gimmicks when I started.
Oh, okay.
Let's see.
Is it just to try them out and see what fits?
See
Or?
what you wear, what works.
Okay.
And then I broke my ankle in 2015
Ooh, ow.
and shattered it. Like, it was, I was
like
out for about a
wrestling?
year. Yeah, up in Valparaiso. And did something that I knew how to do, but I didn't know how to do it well enough, apparently.
Oh, goodness.
And some things happen, and it is what it is. But, so, like, let's see. So, okay, so like Cheddar Blansky, so like the Facebook stuff, that's, and I'll say it out here now because I figured whatever, but not my real name. Everybody thinks it is.
What, Cheddar?
Chet.
Chet?
It's Chet. So like on Facebook, like Cheddar Blansky is the name.
Okay.
It's never been my real name.
I mean, that it makes sense.
No,
if anybody,
well,
I use my real name, but IDFK.
Well, I did that because I worked behavioral health for a really long time, like direct care.
I did too.
Yeah, and mostly with children.
I did
so,
not.
And
children.
kids will look you up.
Like, yeah, they will. They don't mess around.
And then so will adults come find out. And so I didn't ever use my real name on Facebook. And then when I started like doing manager stuff, we come up with a name that I would use at the bar sometimes just for fun. So I would just walk up to people at tables and be like, "Hello, Cheddar Blansky, heating and cooling. How are you?" You can't spell heating and cooling without a Blansky. Which you clearly can. Like, that's not a word.
You can spell both of those words without chef or.
But if you say it really fast, and then you just keep talking,
like a salesperson.
Oh, it's so much fun. And just do it to people, and especially when they're a little bit loaded, it's fantastic. It's so much fun.
See, I'm the kind of person that you guys would hate because I just keep asking questions.
See, and I wouldn't because I'm like, we can do that then. Let's go.
I just keep going. You're gonna make it make sense to me.
And that was always fun. But yeah, so we would do that just for fun. And then again,
great.
so the guy that trained me was like, as a manager, that's your name.
Okay.
Like, that's it. So then I came out and I was managing. And I did things like I had like the fuzzy goggles, like the little like animal print hats.
That's beautiful.
Like my shoes always match my clothes.
Oh, I love that in a manager. I love that in a manager.
We're gonna look good today.
Okay.
And I didn't really know what I was doing. I was making it up. Nobody really taught me that. And like I just learned as I went.
Okay.
So I'd get lucky and like really good veterans from all over would sit down with me and they'd be like, well, here's this. And because I was such an adult by the time I was doing it, it was so much easier to shut up and listen.
Oh, because you weren't like, okay.
Yeah, there was no ego involved. It's like, please tell me, let's go.
Okay.
Right? Because I knew that most of these guys that do this have trained for years and years before they even have their first match.
How long did you train before your first match? Let me guess, 3 weeks.
Ish.
Really? Oh, wow.
Ish.
Oh, my gosh.
Like I said, when I say I backdoored my way in, I really did.
Oh, my goodness.
I was manager for so long and I did stuff.
Backdoored your way in, you donkey kicked it in.
The whole way.
Jesus.
I really probably, most places I probably shouldn't even be able to do this. Like in some places would be very offended by knowing that I am, even still to this day, because that's how some people work. And that's fine, I get it. And because people take it real personally, that idea of like, and I respect that. Like, I I put in 2 solid years of training, and I did 1 million squat thrusts, and I did drills and threw up every day. And
and
fantastic for you.
Yeah, that's great, bro.
Some of us other ones just found a different way
I mean,
to the door. Like, don't worry about me.
It's obviously working. You're working,
Yeah,
so
It would be an issue if you're not safe.
right. That's the thing, you know. So
Hurt anyone or
yeah, and those kind of things, and that's where I think I think if I'd have tried to start younger, like if I'd have been 26 and did it, I don't think it would have went as well.
no.
I probably still wouldn't be doing it.
Okay.
Because I think ego-wise, I'd have been mad. Where I was as a human at that point in time, I
mean,
wouldn't
I
be able
feel
to
like
handle it.
male and female around that age, it's
Well,
not
you're a terrible human at 26. Like,
Yeah.
you don't know anything.
no,
Like,
no,
you
you
know,
really don't. You think you do. You think. You think.
And the
I'm
only reason-
married. I have
yeah.
kids. I don't care. You
And the
don't
only reason
know
you think-
anything.
and that's the only reason you think you know anything, because you don't know nothing.
Yes, exactly.
Like, I think it's Elijah Schlesinger Taylor Tomlinson, the comedian, talks about that. Where she's like, yeah, the only reason we think the 20s are awesome is because nobody expects anything from us.
Yeah.
Because we're garbage humans. Like, that's legit. Like,
It really
terrible.
is. Yeah.
So, and it's not like, and I
We're
love,
still supposed to be like in the village, though. We're supposed to be with family
yes,
through that, and then you move away when you have a brain that's fully freaking developed.
that's why I love talking to these like young ones that come do this now. Because
I was gonna ask, do you
help.
like do that?
I
Like,
don't.
they-
Yeah, I don't train or anything because I don't think I'm qualified.
No, but like, do
But
you
I'd love to talk to you.
like people used to do to you?
Oh, absolutely. That,
Okay.
because to me, that's one thing that makes this whole thing better is when people will pass knowledge back and forth. Like, if you learn something, man, tell people. Just tell them. Because even if they don't use it, at least you tried.
I mean, that's true.
Like, at least you tried.
Once you tell your knowledge, the onus on the hearer
Yes.
is whether to use it or
You
not.
do you. Like, and some advice is good. Some advice maybe isn't as good for certain people.
I mean,
whatever.
yeah.
But I always preface that when I talk to people about that stuff. I'm like, I don't know everything.
I mean,
But-
nobody knows everything.
But I do believe, like, I'm not afraid to say out loud that, like, I'm pretty good with people. So that, I think, makes this work sometimes. Because
Yeah.
I kind of know where, okay, maybe they'll go here with me. Maybe they'll go here. Maybe they're not probably going to buy that. So let's not do that.
I feel like if you're a good reader of people, it's probably easier. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
And the more you do it, the easier it gets. Like,
yeah, you kind of get I'm a good reader of people.
Mhm.
I think I am.
yeah.
So I feel like that's because people just talk to me like this. This is just.
Right, just how it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, people come up in bars and then you just start talking to them. Like,
Yeah.
"Well, let's talk. What do you got?
Because
Let's talk about it."
everybody has something that I don't have, like
Right.
they've experienced, and I find that fascinating. So where else have you wrestled?
Let's see. Gosh.
Like, where are you based out of?
I live in
South
Michigan.
Bend?
I live in Cassopolis.
Yes, Michigan. Ooh, okay, sorry.
I moved to Cassopolis in 2013 because my wife, that's her house.
Okay.
And so I moved in with her, and then we got married. God, let's see. Yeah, that year, 2013, because we were married 10 years. And which is crazy. Like, I'm
Time
like, wow,
starts
that's
to
nuts.
like.
But like, it's just, and it's such a good thing. And like, she made me like better.
Aw.
So like, that helps too. Like this guy, that it makes it easier. And then like, cause when I broke my ankle, that I was ready to quit. Like, and everybody told me I should quit. Like, you're too old to be doing this
Really?
anyway. Like, you
Wow.
need to let it go. And then, and some people, you know, are very,
I mean,
and some people are very honest with you. You weren't ever that good. You know,
wow.
it's going time to let it go. Like, you know, whatever. Which, and again,
I mean, fair.
fair.
But I have fun, bro.
100%, like, I get you.
People don't
Well,
hate me.
And we were sitting there, and my wife told me, she's like, "You're not done yet." Like, and as I was like, when I was rehabbing, I was getting myself
Yeah.
right. And she's like, "I ain't done yet." And I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Because if everybody else thinks I should quit, I mean, do you think?" She's like, "I'm never gonna tell you to quit." She's like, "You quit when you're ready." And she's like, "And you don't let nobody else tell you that either."
Aw.
And I'm like, "That's fair." Like, and then the first time I was back was in Lakeville, and it was cool because it was like I was still doing like this fighting Irish thing. I had a mask on. I had this whole deal, and like I think we might have lost. I don't remember, but I remember running like into the bleachers like her and a couple of my friends were all at, and like we're just hugging people after the match is over. People were like, we don't know what they're doing. Like, don't worry about me. I'm doing my thing right now.
Wonderful.
But yeah, and I've been lucky to meet like a lot of really good friends. Like a lot of really cool people. I've met some not cool people too.
I mean, that's
Like-
kind of
like,
how the world
Just humans.
is.
Yeah,
though,
like,
yeah.
some people just suck.
Some humans have,
But-
yeah.
But even them, like, the older I get, the more I realize that like a lot of that's not just because they're bad or they suck or whatever, but like people got like unresolved trauma. They got all these
Yeah,
other
no,
things.
people just need to get some therapy.
Yeah, and just talk to somebody
Yeah,
about it a little bit.
yeah.
Like, figure it out.
Worry about
Yeah,
yourself.
but I'm not mad. Yeah, because I'm not mad at you. Like, I remember when I was younger, like, I'd be mad about it. Like
Oh, I would
Shut up,
I'd
you
get
know,
so
yeah, like-
indignant. Like, can't you do better? But no, you can't, obviously, or you wouldn't be acting.
and you
like
want to
that.
argue with them and fight with them.
Yeah,
we're
like
not
that
fighting.
really. Yeah, no.
I don't got the energy.
No, I don't either.
Like, and then my wife got into like the Rikis and all that, and this protects me. Like, I don't deal with negativity. I don't deal with it.
I have a lever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
don't like
got my bag of rocks that I keep with me most of the
I
time.
love it.
I don't deal with negativity.
It's all about energy.
Yeah.
That's all. Energy, like it's proven, like everything
Yeah.
has energy. So, like, if everything has energy and you can manipulate energy, why couldn't you? Yeah. So
I told a younger guy a couple of weeks ago. I told him, I was like, the biggest thing I want you to understand is one, everything is in a constant state of change.
that's true.
Constant.
Yeah.
Always. So everything you've seen tomorrow is going to be different than it was today. Everything. No matter what it is. I'm like, signs that you drove past on your way to work, your house, your car, the skin on your face.
Yeah.
It's not the same today as it was yesterday. It's not going to be the same tomorrow as it was today. If you get used to that, everything else is easy. Because you know bad stuff can't stay around.
I mean, that's true.
You know to appreciate good stuff when it happens.
Yeah.
And then just go from there. Like, psh, don't get into all that other nonsense.
I know. I am 100% in agreement. Hard same.
See,
So you're my age. You're our age.
Mhm.
47.
Yes.
So how long do you think you're gonna? Like, I'm not the most athletic person, never have been, but my body hurts
Yeah,
sometimes just
Me
existing.
too. And I don't.
I bet.
I work really hard to not do a lot.
Like, how often do you wrestle?
Like
Is it
this
like
week,
monthly?
this weekend having like 2 in a weekend is, I don't do that a lot, but I do it sometimes.
No? Okay.
It just depends, like where places are and things, and sometimes it depends too, like who I'm working with, because you do a little more with some people than you do others. But like me, I am extremely self-aware. I feel like, so I know what I'm okay with. I know what I'm not okay with.
Okay.
I know what is entertaining that I do and what's not.
Okay.
So I stay away from stuff that's not.
All right.
Like, that's not good. Don't do that.
Fair enough. I mean, that's fair enough.
Like, and then I bounce things off of like certain friends of mine. I bounce a lot of stuff off my wife. And like, cause she'll come sometimes and see stuff and she's like, well, that didn't look good. Like, you know, she's like,
appreciate that
yeah, she's
honesty
like, that one-
and support.
she's like, that wasn't great. But then other stuff, she's like, no, that was really good though. Like, because me, I've never had anything good. If you ask me.
Okay.
No.
I mean, I feel
I'm
like
that
that's
one.
the human condition.
Yeah,
at
I'm
this
that
point.
one. I'm
Everybody
like-
I talk to now, like, it's the same, and I'm also the same. So
Like, average is my top for me. So, yeah, it's all right.
it didn't suck.
Nobody
horribly.
died. Nobody died.
Oh
We're
God,
okay.
that is a low threshold.
Yeah, like, nobody got hurt. Everybody went home safe.
Oh God.
Because it's funny, like when you first, like especially when you first start, you're, and I don't know if it's everybody. I know mine was like, don't get yelled at by one of the veterans. Whatever I did, as long as I didn't make any of them mad, then that was my deal. And then as I got a little more comfortable, it was as long as I get a reaction, as long as people cared,
Okay.
at least even a little.
Even a little.
Because to me, kryptonite is when you go out there and like people don't, they don't even.
It's uncomfortable for me. But see, my also deal is if I haven't seen you wrestle, and by the way, I haven't seen
See?
you wrestle,
Mhm.
I'm not going to clap. I'll clap for you. Like, I'll be polite,
Yeah.
but you go, no.
You're one that you got to work for it. A little bit, and
Yeah,
that's okay.
oh, no, you definitely, it's a low bar. You don't have to do much to make me like, super fan. But you have to do something.
Like it's funny how many like coaches and trainers and that use like relations and like intimate moments and that to like do for their metaphors for those kind of things. And they do. There's some fans you got to tweak them a little bit, and you got to get them ready. Like,
I mean, no, you're not wrong.
Yeah, they're not going.
And I love that whole aspect of it. I feel like I should just like write a little like I'd be like the Nielsen family for if are you a good wrestler? Let's let Prue decide.
Well, yeah, because it's such a subjective thing.
It is very
like because some people will watch certain people and go, God, did you see that stuff he did? Wow, that's because some of these kids, you guys, are ridiculous athletes. They're like video game characters.
They are.
Like, what do you mean?
Isaiah Moore.
Yeah, how do you do that with your body?
Is that real? Is that I know it's like you're right, it is like a video game.
It's so hard sometimes when you're fighting some of those people and they're doing that while you're right there. And you're like, what? What did you just do? But like the thing is once you understand that, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But then there's this other thing where like, okay, maybe this one here doesn't do a bunch of that, but God, he's fun to watch. Like God, he's entertaining. Something about him. Like, so like I don't know if you guys ever seen like BD Smooth.
Yes.
Yeah. You can't take your eyes off of him. Like nobody's gonna tell you that he's Ric Flair.
No.
Nobody will tell you that. But by God, every crowd I've ever seen him in front of, people are going.
Like a train. You can't.
I can't look away though.
I hate that you're right.
Isn't it weird? It's weird.
I hate that you're right.
But it's a thing. Like so that's a different thing. That's another thing. And he does that. But the thing about him, I think that works too, is that's him. That's 100. He's so authentic. Like this dude's just weird. Okay. I can get behind that because I know that's him today. I know that's him tomorrow. I know that's him on the way to the car.
That weird?
He's a pretty weird kid. But I love him to death. But he works hard and and he cares. And caring makes a big difference sometimes.
Yeah.
So like there's that. And then there's, people like me again, who I'm not gonna go out there. I'm not gonna ever wow you with my wrestling acumen. I'm not. And you're not gonna go, whoa, I can't believe he did that. You're just not gonna do that. But you might go, yeah, dude, I'd hang out with him though. I want to know what he's doing later. Is he going to the bar? Because if he goes to the bar, I'll go. Like, by God, and that's where I live. If I can get him there, if I can get him to want to come to the bar with me when we're done, I did my thing.
All right. I mean, it's an attainable, achievable goal.
I tell everybody all the time, we kick asses and we raise glasses, and that's what we do. That's what we do.
That's beautiful.
Everything else is gravy. I don't care. But if I can get people to like, even, it sucks because like, do something like this, like a high school, like, do I gotta dial it back a little bit? Like,
Do you say bad words?
I don't do that, but like even when you start talking about drinking, these are like high school kids.
Oh, I'm sure that'll be fine. That's like PG. That's not even PG-13 anymore. I don't think.
But like for some reason, like with me especially, and my wife always laughs about this. Little kids adore me, but they like as a human, they like little kids love me.
It is the energy. That's what I was going to say.
So now, like like people are, go take a picture with him, and here I am, like, and I got like a hand, like whatever, like let me put it over here so we can like.
Well, like you're a really big guy, and you look kind of strong, but I'm not like, like there's no like threat of intimidation. Is that bad? I feel like that's insulting.
No, it's not because different people give off different stuff, and also it goes kind of back to what we said earlier. Where like there's switches that you can flip.
Yeah.
To where like, hey, we're good, but we ain't got no problem. we ain't got no issue right now, so we're good. Maybe it's different if there's an issue, whatever.
I mean, I've seen that.
Yeah. So you've been in the middle of that. Like,
yeah, I have.
Like when I first started working, like not when I first started behavioral health, but like when I first met my wife, she had a bunch of dogs. Okay. And because of like where I grew up and the way I grew up and things like that, when I stood like hands are always kind of clenched. Okay. Shoulders are always kind of back. Okay. You're just there. Well, these dogs, they would just like, and there's 7, 8 dogs, and they're all 80, 90 pound dogs a piece. Like they're just, it's a herd at the time. And I'm like, and I didn't love dogs at that point.
Okay.
I got some pretty good scars from a person that I was seeing at one point, and she had an Akita that had a grass allergy that gave it some mental things. And it snapped on me real good and like gashed up my wrist and had a whole deal. So I had kind of an issue with dogs, especially big dogs.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I know not anymore. Like I've been around dogs now too much. But so like I'm in her house the first time and these dogs are just kind of standoffish with me. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything. Like, and I'd sit down and they'd come and lick me and hang with me, as I sat down. But when I get back up, they're right back to it. And one day my wife was like, unclench your hands. And I'm like, what? She's like, loosen up your hands. And I did that. And then I started thinking about like where I work. Like how many like physical managements and things have I been involved in that I caused and didn't even know I was causing them?
Because of your body language.
Just body language.
I used to tell my employees, I don't care. You have to like keep it loose.
And there's this middle.
Once you tense up, they're gonna sense it and it's gonna escalate. And
it's this weird middle because there's like you can get too loose.
Yeah, you don't want too loose. Yeah. You want to.
And then an adult with a behavioral health issue will jump on that too.
Yeah.
Say, oh, I got me one there.
Yeah.
You better back up. We're good. Let's be good.
We had one that would always target my one employee, and I'm like, girl, you gotta have a backbone.
At least but do your job and stay in care mode. But it's that. So, but I think it's the same kind of thing.
You think so?
Like if you can get, because like some.
I mean, I think so, but
because I think people are a lot easier than we think they are.
Oh, we're all easy. I'm so easy. That's why I always say I'm easy because I know, because I've like done like people have little things, and if you pay attention, you can kind of pick up on that. And so much of it is. And this is the ugly word to use, and people get mad sometimes. But it's a big con. No, I mean
it's all a con.
It's pretend. It's theater. It is. You are actors in a movie, and you have to put one over on us, the participants of a Shakespearean play where we hurl insults at thee and
that's it.
Throw. And I love it. I love it. That's why. I mostly I dig the in-person because it's real, it's visceral. So I'm very excited to watch you in person.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, no, I don't want to watch any video because I'm not going to pay attention and I feel like I don't appreciate it the same the first time.
Right.
First time I want it to be in person.
Just see, it's because this is it's not for everybody and it's not easy. And it's one of and I say that because like recently in the last decade especially, wrestling became very all-inclusive.
Yes.
Which in some ways is very good.
I like it.
In other ways it's not as great.
Why?
And the reason is because some people are doing it that probably shouldn't be.
Do you mean that are not good wrestlers and are not safe?
And with that, some of them just physically like they want to be good, but it ain't in them. It just ain't there. Like for whatever reason. Doesn't mean they shouldn't try. But like, I think that self-awareness piece.
But like what kind of physical though?
Like it's more like, so if you see somebody who, hold on, like, okay. If you take somebody who's like extremely, extremely like just like tiny, for example, but then you watch them and you also can tell that physically they've never been in any kind of a physical altercation ever, and we're probably not comfortable in it ever. And sometimes you can see it. Sometimes you can see it out of them, and they haven't learned how to get there yet. And some people, it's just not in them. They just don't have it. And some of it's because they're just beautiful, like sweet people.
Okay.
And anything aggressive doesn't work for them. And if they do try to make it work, it just feels so forced.
So, I mean, can you be a wrestler and not be aggressive?
It shouldn't work, but there's people that try.
Okay.
And you see, and it's that, or just the idea of, again, where maybe it's not even when they're in front of people, but as they're being coached, or as people are trying to help them and give them advice and things like that, they can't get their brain around that.
But there's wrestlers that aren't like, oh, like, I'm going to beat you up, buddy. There's like wrestlers that do like a lot of like flippy, it's smaller sometimes.
But when you see them, a lot of them even, so like Isaiah's a really good example. But Isaiah still looked like he would fight you. But he's going to fight you his way. Yeah, he's going to backflip behind you and then kick you in the face.
Right.
But you don't believe that you don't believe he wouldn't kick you in the face. He's still probably going to kick you. He's just going to do it in a very creative way. Whereas there's some people that you see places here and there where I'm not even buying it. You've ever been in an argument with anybody. Like, I don't even think you've ever been mad at nobody.
Okay, I kind of get what you're saying now. All right, it's a tricky thing for people because that's part of it. Okay.
Like, I gotta believe that you've at least almost been in a fight. Like, just because otherwise, what are you doing?
Would you believe that I've almost been in a fight?
Yes.
I've never been in a fight.
But and the reason I'll tell you why though, because you have a certain way of carrying yourself, and you're also
I hear that so often.
You're very candid.
Yeah.
Like, and a lot of people who don't mind doing this, don't mind doing this.
I mean, I would, if it came down to it, I probably would. But like, you would have to very anger me. Like, it takes a lot to get me there.
Yeah. Well,
it's trying to steal my water.
Well, and again, like, and think about it, like, and as you get older, I think that goes down too because you learn more. You know how to avoid it.
Yeah.
But like what I'm more referring to is like there's some of these guys that are 23, 24 years old, and you just when you watch them, like nothing in their body tells you fighter. Like nothing about them.
Okay.
And it's really hard as a fan to look at them and go, well, I buy that then.
All right.
Maybe. but then they have to work so much harder, and a lot of them that's not.
I mean, you can learn how to channel that. Yeah. So even if you don't have it, like you can make it seem as though you do.
There's also a lot of people feel entitled, so they shouldn't have to work.
Yes,
but they should have to work. They should. That's the whole thing. But it's a craft. It's not just, I mean, it's a job for real. People need to get paid for their job, but it's a craft, and you don't ever stop. When you're an artist, you should never stop like honing your craft and like being better and trying different things. And that's what good artists do.
Well, and especially with things like charisma.
Yeah. Oh my God. There's charisma black holes.
You can watch somebody come through a curtain and feel the air.
Yes, you can. You really can.
Like, oh God. Wow. and some of them, and the thing about it, what's crazy is like, I know some of them, and they're beautiful people. They're sweet, sweet people.
You can be a sweet person and not have charisma.
And this is one of the things that I always tell people is like, so for years, one of the advice that like a lot of people got in the entire industry of wrestling was, you know, some of the best like characters are just themselves turned up to 11.
Okay.
You know, which is a solid advice until you think about it. Because that's great.
But that's you, though.
Again, that works for me.
Yeah, okay.
What if you're boring as a human? You're just going to be a boring 11.
I mean, oh, you're not wrong at all.
You're just going to be a turned up.
Oh, my goodness.
You're just going to be a turned up librarian, and I don't care.
Yeah. Nobody wants to watch.
Someone like that, I think, like that find it good.
I've seen wrestlers like
manager, something.
No, I've seen wrestlers like that, and I can't get into it. I try so hard because they're trying so hard, but also.
And I mean, and busting their tails for it. They're sweating before they start. Like, man, I gotta go. And I did 14 flips, and I dove to the 9th row.
But if you don't have that it factor, it's not it for me.
And then, come on.
And for most of people,
let's go.
Yeah.
Like we used to do like pretend like characters, like in things on drives and that. Just thinking of stuff. It's like we used to always talk about Mr. Excitement. Like, and we do like Mr. Excitement Pro as driver. Like, I'm Mr. Excitement. I'm coming here to excite you. Don't be late.
That seems legit too.
Because I think that's cash money. I think that's a license to burn money, I think.
Brainstorm delivering that as deadpan.
Right? That's just straight, just everybody. It looks so boring here. I'm glad I'm here to make this more exciting. Because for some reason, like in wrestling, the misdirection joke never doesn't work. Like if you get a heavyset guy and he's a fitness instructor, if you get like,
yes, you are not. You are not wrong at all.
If you get a big bro looking dude and he's like extra sensitive, like it never doesn't work. Great big country guy, whatever, and he starts reciting Shakespeare English accent, and you're like, oh my god, this is fantastic. Hello, my name is One-Eyed Jack. Like, wait, what? It's what? Oh, I was out rowing the range yesterday. Oh, was I like what? And because people pay attention to it because they're trying to figure it out. Like, what's he doing? Never doesn't work. Never doesn't work. It's weird. But wrestling is such a home for it. Like, it works all the time. And that's the other thing is that, like, characters and personalities, that went away for a while because there was this era that jumped in that it was everybody wanted to be legit MMA fighter guy.
Oh Christ!
Which my favorite name for them was Johnny Boots and Tights.
Johnny what?
That's Johnny Boots and Tights. He's got his black tights and his black boots and his black knee pads and he's serious and he's got his cool sleeve tattoo and he's just gonna kick your butt.
Oh, that hurts so bad.
And whatever. But then you look at him and I'm just like, yeah, but what else? And he might be a legit badass. I don't know. But he's boring.
Yeah.
But then there's other dudes that look like that and they're fantastic.
Yeah,
and you're like, whoa, that dude. Jeez. But they trick you. Like you never know.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's just all that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good.
I'm not missing the show, right?
No, I think they're starting. They probably get ready to start.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Thank you guys. I enjoyed it. I like talking.
All right. Well, thank you.
If you can't tell, I like
No, I also.